Hello, everyone. Welcome to Developing Palates. I am Aaron Loomis, coming to you from the Ventura Cigar Company studio, and with me today is Jiunn Liu. How you doing, Jiunn?
Doing good.
So today we are talking about the Espinosa Wasabi. This is a Robusto 5-inch by 52 ring gauge. Comes out of the La Zona factory in Nicaragua. The wrapper is Candela, and the binder and filler are both undisclosed. The blender is Hector Alfonso. Price point is $7.95, and this cigar is the one released in April of 2018. So this is the second iteration of the Wasabi. So with all that information out of the way, Jiunn, what was your smoking experience like?
Uh, for me, it was a drier profile as I kind of, took that first 5-10 puffs or so. It was more of a drier mouthfeel for me. Flavors of white pepper, a little bit of a charred wood coming through, bitter dry nuts. Retrohaling the cigar, it really amps up that white pepper. And it's interesting. It's like, I don't know if this is in my head or it's like, reading the label, I'm like, oh, do I really taste wasabi?
Right.
But when I retrohaled the cigar, especially in that first third, that white pepper spice, it really it stings your nostrils.
Mm-hmm.
You know how like sometimes when we eat like horseradish or wasabi,
Right.
that spice that goes to your noggin, right?
Yep.
I felt like I got that. I don't know. Maybe I got it. Anyway, do retrohale. Finish primarily dry wood, bitter nuts, strength slightly above medium, body medium. As I kind of approached into that like second and last third, they were the same basically, but within the beginning of second third, that white pepper started kind of backing off a little bit, so that allowed that for the bitter dry nuts, faintly charred wood to take more of a foreground and like more noticeable. And for this one, I think the wrapper played quite a bit of a role for me. So, I mean, I'll get to the construction part in a little bit, but it has to do with the flavors. So when the wrapper started burning more consistently, I got like a nice sweet hate to the profile. But when it did it, it was mainly like wood and spice focused. In terms of like strength and body within the second or last third, it's kind of basically went from like trying to get to that meaningful to like that meaningful mark within the last third, which is very much unheard of for a Candela cigar, and the body maintained medium. In terms of construction, burn, I kind of what I said too about a little earlier. Although the burn was average, I had issues within the couple of that I had. The burning, the wrapper had a really difficult time burning. A lot of touch-ups. Ash held on strong, but there was a little bit of flakiness, but I just kept having to touch up that Candela wrapper. But the nice thing is the temperature was pretty cool the whole time. Here's a draw. I thought it was perfect. Perfect balance between airflow resistance.
Yeah, for me, the first few draws brought an immense amount of black pepper with some vegetal undertones to it. After that, the black pepper kind of settled down a little bit to allow some creaminess to become present, along with that kind of faint vegetal note. I did an early retrohale, and kind of similar to what you described. I got my eyes watering pretty good. The pepper level was just immense on that retrohale, so it cleared me out and had my eyes, a little moist there. So half inch in, pepper settled way down. Profile was now consisting of wood, cream, mild black pepper, and some faint vegetal notes. Retrohale's wood and much milder black pepper, thank God. As the third was coming to a close, flavors were all working together pretty well. Strength started out medium full, but settled in at medium, so that was pretty nice. Second, third, wood gained a little bit of char. Some mustiness kind of joined in. Vegetal note was really only present on the finish. A little further in, the cigar gained a kind of a mesquite barbecue note to it, to go along with the cream mustiness and some slight black pepper. A little further in, that barbecue profile continued, and it gained a little bit of sweetness to it. It's almost like a barbecue sauce kind of a consistency. Still overall mustiness to the profile, though. Retrohale was very musty wood note. As the second third was coming to a close, that mustiness took the lead in the profile. Barbecue note was starting to become really faint. And the strength actually bumped down to slightly below medium. And then the final third, still very full musty wood note. That kind of kept going on. Still a little bit of that mustiness on the retrohale. Further in, cigar started heating up a little bit. Brought some mintiness to the musty wood. That's how things finished out. Strength bumped up to slightly above medium. In regards to the burn, similar to you, it was really wavy throughout. Went out a couple of times, requiring some relights. So just not the greatest burning cigar here. In regards to the draw, started out a little slightly tighter than I prefer, and then kind of snugged up as it went along. So I had a little bit of an issue with the draw as well. I don't think it caused an issue with the smoking experience. It just was a lot tighter than my preferences. So overall, what are your thoughts on this one?
Uh, so it's a bit of an oxymoron, right? You call a cigar a wasabi a candela wrapper, which is typically not associated with anything that's spice driven. So expectation wise, I was like, well, this has to be a spicy candela offering. So I was thinking that it's going to give me spice. It's also going to be like the traditional candela style wrapper notes, like vegetal grassiness, hay. I got the hay, but overall, if I would have smoked this, like blind, meaning I didn't even look at the cigar, I would absolutely not say this was a candela cigar. I would have said probably closer to like Ecuador Habano, if anything.
Right.
So it's unique in that sense. It's definitely not conventional, traditional type of candela. So if you like that, this is not for you. You'll absolutely get blown off by the spice and probably reaching for sugar really soon. But if you like bigger spice and you want to have a candela with that, this is no doubt for you. But something I keep thinking about is so one of the trends of the last couple of years is like folks coming out, especially for like holiday season, like St. Patrick's Day, for instance, and coming out with these candela cigars that have more spice driven, right? Way more spice driven. I'm not sure how I feel about that. The traditional side of me makes me want to say, no, if you're going to make a candela cigar, just make a really good traditional candela cigar.
Right.
Make it tasty, but don't give me non-traditional candela notes. But another part of it is like, man, this is really unique, and that is for sure very unique.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, it starts out with a big punch of black pepper right up front, so it's going to get your attention immediately. But that settled down fairly quickly. Second, third brought that unique sweet barbecue note that I mentioned earlier. Burn was a challenge, really wavy, went out a few times. And like you said, the word is unique. This is definitely a unique smoke. I just thought it was a little bit all over the place in terms of flavor and burn. When you kind of go from a super black pepper driven thing, then you kind of get into like the sweet barbecue note. For me, it's like this very different tables of what you're talking about there. So, I don't see this as a cigar that I would smoke regularly. It just is too kind of out there for me, but it's still something that would be enjoyable from time to time when you're kind of looking for something just a little bit different, change of pace type of thing. But I think this cigar might do a little bit better with some more time as well. I'd be curious to see if that smooths any kind of these rough edges out or helps with the burn or anything like that. But like you said, if you're a traditional I don't know if there aren't any traditional candelas even on the market, right? It doesn't exist.
I think so. Dion's HL,
Holy
right?
Lance. Okay.
And the La Flor Dominicana.
Sure. Okay.
But in terms of new stuff, absolutely not.
Yeah. So I mean, if you smoke those two cigars, if you smoke the Illusione and you smoke the LFD, this is not in your wheelhouse. If those are what you like to smoke. So, I think if this could be a little bit more balanced in terms of flavor and burn and things like that, it might do a lot better. So maybe time will do something with that. Talking about scores, Junior, you give it a 6.15. I get a 5.85. How do you think that match up with your experience?
It matched well. I mean, when I read something like a 6, it's something that I wouldn't turn down having again. But it's nothing that's going to hit like my top list for the year.
Right.
So.
Yeah, my matches up well. I mean, we pretty much scored it the same. Our only real difference was in the draw. You had a perfect draw, and mine had a little bit of struggle. That's the only real difference in regards to it. But yeah, I would agree with you. I mean, if you're in the mood for this cigar, it's a good cigar. So but you just have to know what you're going to get into. So if you're thinking that this is going to be a mild grassy cigar, that's not what you're getting into. So, but I will smoke another one of these, and I will probably wait until later in this year to do it, and just kind of see if that time does is kind to the cigar, and kind of go from there.
Right.
You have any other thoughts on this one?
What's your take on my comments about keeping it traditional versus like just doing something that's just going to be like a total oxymoron?
No, I think it's cool to try this and things like that. I mean, like a lot of the, or at least the ones that get the buzz, like for the Connecticut's, is stronger, a little spicier type of stuff. But for me, I'm more interested in somebody that can go towards a traditional Connecticut route and deliver hugely in regards to flavor.
Yeah.
That just, for me, that seems more unique, rather than like taking maybe another blend and just kind of throwing a Connecticut shade wrapper on it and saying like, oh, this is Connecticut shade, but everything underneath is a different blend than what we were planning. So, yeah, I guess. I mean, I have smoked that Holy Lance in the Candela and I enjoyed it. So I don't know. Maybe I would be. Maybe I'm in a similar boat with that, with the Candela. Is if somebody just came out with like a more traditional kind of Candela and just did it really well, like I would dig that. So
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure, right? Like it's, I tend to, like you, tend towards like leaning towards, hey, let's keep the tradition of what it should taste like, but make a really good version of it.
Yeah.
Which is why, like, and at the same rate, like you and I are cigar geeks. Not the vast majority of cigar smokers out there, probably, right? So we do want to geek out and say, oh, what is this tobacco? If it uses this tobacco, I think it typically tastes like this, although we don't really know, right? We're not freaking blinkers. But yeah, but there's definitely a unique aspect of it. And like you said, Espinosa totally, nailed it.
Yep. All right. If you're just catching this video on YouTube, be sure to subscribe to us. But also check out the full written review on the website, developingpalates.com. Be sure to follow us on all the social media sites, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Google+. And you can catch all of our review recaps on podcasts. So iTunes, Google Play, and Podbean. Thank you for tuning in, and we will catch you on the next one.